Hi everyone, so I'm reading American Psycho and I don't want to continue with the next chapter. I am on page 70 and I don't want to continue on because I already know what's gonna happen. He's gonna kill a woman, and I read a couple of reviews, not of spoiler-free reviews for this book, and I already know what happens. I feel like I already know what happens in this chapter specifically, and I mean, I'm sure I can take it, but I feel like sometimes I just feel like I'm tired of that, you know? You probably saw in one of my later reviews, in my most recent reviews, I was talking about how I just didn't want to read it anymore, you know? When brutality is mostly against women, and especially when the violence is manifested or it's kind of given this really sexual connotation, I feel like I'm just tired of it, you know? I mean, I don't know, maybe this will impress me and maybe I'm gonna end up actually liking it because of the way the way Patrick Bateman, whatever, is portrayed. But I hope it does impress me, honestly. I'm not sure, I can't really promise that I'm gonna give this a positive review. I mean, obviously I couldn't promise that with any book anyway, but I don't know, I'm already having doubts, to be honest. Hi everyone, so you might be wondering what happened with the whole American Psycho thing. Well, I haven't gotten to any scene actually where he does kill a woman or anything. He fantasizes about it quite graphically. I'm on page 92 right now. There's a couple of scenes that I found really funny in a way. Specifically the one where he sees a philosophy student and he thinks that it's a homeless girl. And I think it's funny or interesting as a scene because he is shown to be embarrassed about it, which is almost like a little bit more emotional depth than you would expect from a protagonist who, you know, is a psychopath and all that, or at least, you know, you suspect from both the title and from what you have seen of him before. Now, I know that these characters are meant to be really disliked, or rather, you know, they're meant to be not super especially loved or anything like that, but I do have a bit of a hard time, I guess, caring about what happens to them or differentiating between them. Both the men and the women, but especially the men, it almost seems like they're the same character over and over, which I don't really like to see. Maybe in future chapters there's gonna be more distinction between them. Of course I distinguish between the protagonist and the other characters, but otherwise, you know, it almost seems like they all went together, all of these socialite guys, and I know that that's probably also deliberate, but you know, it doesn't seem like a very strong point at the moment for this book. And for Roadside Picnic, I finished this book a little while ago. I had been reading it, I had it as a, you know, currently reading for a long time because I just couldn't finish it. There wasn't a lot of conflict at the very beginning. It felt like nothing was really happening, but it was really interesting in the sense that, you know, it was a bit different from anything that I had read before. It felt very different, but I felt like at no point did I get that attached to the characters. And also I think that there's a couple of moments or points in the narration or dialogue where it's almost like the point of the book is explicitly stated to you, to the reader. But I do like the style. I like the, I guess, premise of the characters. The way that they seem, you know, it seems, I do find them to be all distinct, you know, different people from each other. I understand what the role is for all of them, but I don't really ever get to see them as full-fledged people, and of course that's partly because of the length of the book. And I think that's maybe a problem that might be common with these types of books in terms of, you know, science fiction books that are also really short, that they're so short and they try to encompass, you know, such a large phenomenon that they can't, it's kind of difficult for them to do both things, to explore these ideas and also develop the characters and, you know, make them very fleshed out. Of course, like I said, I like the writing style, but I guess it's kind of difficult to really state that when I haven't really read the original version, because obviously this is translated, this is a Russian or I guess Soviet novel from the 70s, and it was translated to English. So there were a couple of concepts and ideas that were, I guess, executed here or mentioned in dialogue and things like that I thought were very interesting, but they were more like mentioned in passing, and the story itself was so short or cut short that they weren't really able to be explained, or I guess developed rather than explained. Because I feel like some things are explained and some aren't really ever delved into or mentioned more than a couple of times. For example, the idea of the daughter, Red's daughter, being sort of no longer human, and especially the relationship between that one country where the son was and the rest of the world, you know, not just what was going on locally, but also just worldwide regarding the whole son thing and the visit and all these things. I don't know, I think that there's something kind of unsatisfying about how it's executed here, and for those kinds of things I think it's not going to be a 5-star. I'm not sure if it's going to be a 4-star either, but it's definitely, it could very well be the best book I've read this year, in all honesty, just mostly because it's been kind of a terrible year in terms of like the quality of the books that I read, or I guess the ratings that I have given the books that I read so far this year. I'm also a little bit behind on my schedule that I should have for reading. I'm like, I think 5 books behind or something like that according to Goodreads. Yeah, with that being said, I'm still hopeful about American Psycho. I'll tell you, you'll know more if I do eventually make a full review of it. I'm not sure that I'll make a full review of Roadside Picnic because, again, I have sort of mixed feelings about it. But it's definitely positive. If I had to either say negative or positive, it would definitely be positive. Mostly positive towards this book. I also bought these earrings. I want to show them to you. I bought these earrings. They're sort of teardrop-shaped pearls. I was just curious about them, and I'll show them to you in a close-up. But I found and bought new cameo earrings. I remember that there were some at Michael's in the US, but I haven't been able to go to the US because of the whole, you know, pandemic and everything. So I found these near me. Again, I'll give you a close-up. And I used to have different cameo earrings. You probably saw them in one of my outfit videos, but I ended up trying to clean them or fix them in some way. I don't really remember, but there was something that I wanted to clean them with. And I think I used vinegar, but I initially used something because I wasn't sure what exactly they were made of. So I think I used the substance that, you know, wrongly, a certain substance wrongly, assuming that they were silver, and they started to sort of tarnish even more. So I was like, oh my god, what do I use? And I tried to use baking soda, and that kind of improved it a little bit, but they still weren't really good enough to use. They still kept tarnishing whenever I wore them, and also the baking soda made the cameo part actually fall out, probably because it undid the glue that was there. So yeah, I ended up buying new ones.